Thanks, that's a very interesting question, and safety culture is something that I think that the proactive side of things needs to be advanced in terms of using the data now that we have from various collection points in order to improve that culture. What we're not doing is analysing what's actually happening in our industry and actioning on it. A lot of the time we talk about training is a problem and we need to move further with training. But in reality, some of the things are so obvious that we should be just using the pure data that we see today from onboard the vessels, from flag, from insurance, to actually get a true value of what's going on in shipping. And then we can look at how we can improve that safety culture, how we can take small steps to improve and reduce the number of incidents, the number of accidents, and actually be proactive in promoting a safe culture from not only on board the ship but from onshore, from everybody who plays a role in supporting the safety of our industry, from cadets all the way through to seafarers. And obviously, once you have a safety culture and a very strong safety culture within a company, it goes throughout the whole company. You can push it to your charterers, your managers, etc. And overall, our industry would move in the right direction if only we would start with that benchmark and know exactly where we stand. Fleet safety was approved by the IMO in 2018, and since then we've been doing trials and improving the service and ensuring that we add the extra components to it, not just the GMGSS functions, but functions that will provide LRIT and SSAS, as well as VMS for non-SOLAS vessels. We've also contracted a new terminal being manufactured by one of our partners, Cobham, a value-added manufacturer who will release a new product called Fleet Sea. In order to provide the global service, we've now launched I6F1, and the L-band capacity will come online in June of this year. And I6F2 has been launched, and that capacity will come on in April of 2024. At that point, we will have our global service for L-band with full contingency of 6 satellites as a global constellation. In order to support that as well, we've just announced the contract to build 3 I-8 satellites. These will be L-band satellites spaced 120 degrees apart that will give us the contingency for our safety services well into 2040 and beyond. Fleet safety itself, it will go through the IMO approval for global service, and we expect to be able to deliver that service towards the end of 2024. Yes, so for, this week during NorShipping we've released the Decarbonisation Toolkit report, and actually I suggest that your readers read it and form their own opinions. But what it's highlighting is that really shipping now need to act. We've been a lot of talking. It outlines how to go about putting a plan in place, how to actually make a difference in terms of the actions required to move towards decarbonisation and sustainability to the future. The report is quite comprehensive. It's had a lot of input from a number of sources, and really it just sets out a framework of a way forward. There's a lot of information in there for your customers to digest, but principally what we're saying is now is the time to act. It's no longer something that we should be talking about. It's something that you need to formulate a plan, work out how you're going to go forward, know exactly where you stand today, and how you can start chipping away and improving towards the 2050 goal of zero decarbonisation. The key barriers, as I see them today, for effectively moving to a more sustainability and decarbonisation are collecting the data that we have today, and using that very simple data to create a benchmark of where you are. Once you have that, then you know where you stand and you know how you can move forward. This industry has a business model and a culture that allows it to operate. It will have to change. Recognizing that change is inevitable, you then have to effectively measure where you are today, set out your goals, which have already been defined by the UN and by the IMO in terms of the limits we want to meet and by when, and then work out what your plan is to get there. As I've said, and what our report, the Digitalisation Toolkit report, highlights is now is the time for action. It's no longer that you can sit back and just rely on the fact that we're moving forward with no progress. We have to act. We have to act significantly. Here at NorShipping, John Kerry opened the show with a very passionate speech about global warming and the impact it's having on us. As an industry, we have to play our part, and as individual ship owners, ship managers, providers of services, etc., we all have to play our part. Now is the time for action. The barrier, as I see it, is effectively getting up and going. It's not about being involved. The problem is not starting, and now is the time to start. And if we can work together as an industry, as well as individual shipping companies, share some of that responsibility as well with the regulators around the world, then I believe we can move forward and we can make a significant impact. That impact doesn't mean that it has to create a lot of cost or extra resources. It actually creates opportunities to look at the business model, to look at how you can save costs in fuel, how you can actually save time and resources on board, and you can use digital tools to support the decision making within your shipping company, to support the captain on board, to free up some of his time by doing electronic reporting, electronic cargo manifests. All of these are the way forward in terms of using IT and digital transformation to improve the performance overall. So this is a huge opportunity. Yes, it means change, and we haven't changed for a long period of time. The amount of data that is available for ships today is significantly more than it's ever been. And so therefore, the barrier of having communications to the vessel has gone. There's no such thing as a remote vessel anymore. Once you can transfer that data, then we can really make a difference. And so I think using that data to not only meet the targets of greenhouse gas emissions, carbon, etc., but also to drive opportunities in looking at return on investment from the savings that can be done on board, and improving the life of our seafarers as well, and will obviously improve the safety of our industry. So it's a huge opportunity for all of us to get on board and move forward. So as part of the evolution of Inmarsat in terms of meeting the future, you will have seen on the 31st of May that we made a very large announcement that we are being acquired by Viasat. The combination of Viasat and Inmarsat makes us a very powerful scalable satellite operator. We now have more capacity, more technical capability to move forward and to meet the requirements of our industry in the future. This is an extremely wonderful time in the evolution of Inmarsat. And the way that we are moving forward in terms of all our services and our capabilities, we will add more value as a combined entity. And we'll be able to meet far beyond the customer's expectations. So it's really exciting times, and I'm really looking forward to bringing the capabilities of Viasat and Inmarsat together and showing effectively to this industry that we're there to support them with the data requirements of the future, with their not only just communications services, but also the evolution of digital transformation, providing those extra services, that extra value that will give the opportunities for shipping to actually move into the future with data in a sustainable way to provide not only meeting their requirements, but actually improving the overall industry's position. We will always focus on our safety services, which are growing stronger from our heritage, and we'll also be building the capability of our broadband capability across the globe. Inmarsat has a number of committed satellite launches, all fully funded, and Viasat has just launched its first Viasat-3, with 2 more to be launched quite soon. So again, we are adding the capability for the future, not just for today, where we've come from, both companies being Inmarsat 40 years plus, Viasat 37 years plus, all on this trajectory towards meeting the customer's demands of the future. And so I'm very excited about what we can do and how we will meet that demand, which we know is going to be exponential.